What if the silence from Chase Center conceals a seismic shift destined to rewrite the Warriors' defensive blueprint? A move whispered in shadows but roaring with possibility. Welcome back to Warriors News Fan Report, where raw truths collide with Splash-era passion. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so your heart never misses a beat. The rumor mill is swirling hard. Dub Nation, because beneath the polished floorboards of our beloved Chase Center, insiders are buzzing about a bold three-team deal that could redefine the Warriors' chase for another ring. Jonathan Isaac, the enigmatic defensive beast with the kind of length and shot-blocking prowess that could finally solidify Golden State's frontcourt, is reportedly on the verge of donning the blue and gold. This isn't just a standard roster shuffle, no. This is a late-season entry in the chess match of NBA front offices, and it comes with Jet Howard and Mo Gai in tow, all part of a complex triad involving the Orlando Magic and Atlanta Hawks. Detailed first by the well-connected Sports Illustrated insider, Rohan Raymond. What makes this even more tantalizing is the clear strategic intent behind it. The Warriors, while basking in the residual glow of 4 championships over the last decade, a dynasty fueled by the transcendent Splash Brothers and the defensive marvel of Draymond Green, are staring down the twilight of Draymond's prime at 35, and the league's gravitation back towards bigger, mobile defenders forces changes that a perimeter-heavy, switch-centric lineup struggles to meet. Enter Isaac, a 6'10" wing who in theory offers a Rhodesian Ridgeback's stubborn defensive presence, boasting a block percentage at a staggering 4.1%, catapulting him to the very top percentile amongst forwards, alongside elite steal rates and rebounding numbers that could alleviate Golden State's persistent glass deficiency, a vulnerability that often haunts high-flying, smaller lineup teams. But the intrigue cuts deeper. Isaac's history is riddled with injury landmines and offensive inconsistency, which makes his acquisition a high-stakes gamble steeped in equal parts risk and potential reward. As Raymond soberly notes, Isaac's defense might be unmatched, but can he survive the rigors of playoff battles and the intricate spacing requirements prescribed by Steve Kerr's playbook? The trade involves sending Moses Moody and Gui Santos to Orlando, signaling a philosophical risk from the Warriors' side. Moody's potential hasn't fully blossomed, but his youth and offensive upside promise future returns, so trading him away means betting big on immediate stability, not just hopeful talent development. Atlanta joins this triad by absorbing Goga Bitadze and securing a 2027 first-round pick, a move that suggests Hawks management is playing a long game, willing to leverage immediate assets for depth and future flexibility. From a macro perspective, this isn't a mere transaction. It's a seismic realignment of talent and timelines. Orlando swaps an injury-prone veteran for younger, offensively gifted players ready to accelerate their rebuild. Golden State pushes to transform its aging defensive spine, and Atlanta amasses draft capital and frontcourt assets to keep pace with an Eastern Conference evolving at breakneck speed. Imagine the impact on the Dubs when Green finally gets to breathe a little easier, when Isaac's length and mobility allow the Warriors to switch more confidently on screens and contests, shots more ferociously across multiple positions, while bringing a rebounding tenacity that has long been a missing piece in Golden State's championship puzzle. Could Isaac's presence finally allow Thompson to rest easier, knowing the defense won't crumble in the paint or let that crucial loose ball slip past? Could this be the silent pivot that eclipses even the KD-era's seismic impact, quiet yet profound? And yet, the ghosts of what-ifs loom large over this move. What if Isaac's body can't endure another full season? What if his limited offensive arsenal stalls the flow the Warriors' finely tuned attack? The stakes are sky high, and in true Dub Nation fashion, every whisper morphs into a roar of hope or dread, heard in the echoes of the "we believe" underdog heartbeats, and the raw playoff scars etched into our collective memory. Every nuanced possession could be transformed with Isaac's rim protection and versatility, offering Draymond the luxury of managing his minutes, preserving his boundless energy for crunch time, and helping to shield Klay and Steph from the punishing physical tolls of the grind. But the questions multiply faster than the ball moves in Golden State's complex offense. Will Kerr unleash Isaac in a role that maximizes defense without burdening him offensively? Will this mark a pivot away from youth development towards win-now strategies loaded with calculated injury risks? Will this bold bet pay off or unravel under the harsh spotlight of postseason pressure? As a lifelong Dub Nation believer, my pulse is racing just writing this, imagining the defensive cages Isaac could lock down, the late-game scenarios where Golden State holds the line with a new stalwart presence. But is this the spark that reignites our dynasty or the crack that fractures our legacy? Drop your unfiltered takes in the comments. I'll be right there, heart in hand. If you felt a jolt like 1,000 electric currents rushing through the veins of Dub Nation at once, drop everything and scream it out loud right now. Because this isn't just rumors or trade chatter. This is the moment where the Warriors either evolve or crack under the immense weight of expectation and history. We're staring down the barrel of a franchise-defining gamble that could either shore up our brittle defense or deepen the fractures beneath the Chase Center's glossy veneer. The weight of this Jonathan Isaac trade isn't just about a player arriving or leaving, it's about the heart and soul of this Warriors team caught at a crossroads no fan wanted to face this early in the season. Because let's be real mooses. Moody and Gui Santos were our blood, sweat, and tears for the future. Fresh legs and raw potential carrying the bright light for the years when this core fades. Moving them out isn't just about basketball. It's a symbolic chop of our youth pipeline, an all-in move on defense that screams win now with all the desperation of a dynasty sensing the end of its golden run. And Isaac? The man is a mystery wrapped in a physical marvel, a 6' -10 defensive titan with hands like magnetic traps on shooters, but a fragility that has haunted Orlando's locker rooms every season. Can the Warriors' medical and training staff finally play miracle worker on a player who has more what-ifs than resumes? Can Kerr do the impossible, sliding Isaac into lineups and offensive sets without turning Steph and Klay's rhythm into a disjointed mess? The tension is mayonnaise thick, because we all remember how Draymond's defense anchored this dynasty, how his fiery heart and mentorship chiseled the unbreakable defense that complemented Curry's otherworldly offense. Now, at 35, Draymond's engine is visibly winding down those moments where the young energy of Kuminga or Moody might have taken the reins suddenly look like luxuries we can no longer afford. Yet, can Isaac replicate that fiery leadership on defense while absorbing the bruises of playoff intensity? Picture it, a late fourth-quarter possession against the league's best, with Curry having just battled through hell and back, dishing off to Isaac to head screens, recover, and swat away attempts with that almost preternatural timing. The kind we haven't seen since Andre Iguodala's championship defense, but with fresh guns and wings. That's the dream. But then the nightmare spirals in. What if Isaac's leg? Cramps bail him out in those moments? What if his offense shrinks our spacing, leaving Steph and Klay clogged with traffic, forcing them to settle for tougher shots because Isaac's limited ability as a catch-and-shoot or playmaker disrupts Kerr's free-flowing symphony? The coaching chess game now involves infinite permutations, and you can't help but wonder if Steve Kerr, always the genius at riding the razor's edge, can push the right buttons, or if this bold bet plunges us into an identity crisis the likes of which the Warriors haven't faced since the Kevin Durant drama rocked the foundations. And speaking of KD, what if this trade signals a silent admission the Splash Brothers alone can't shoulder this team anymore? We're pivoting not just on defense, but on tone, on pace, on all the beautiful, fast-paced offensive magic that once carried us to multiple titles for a newer, grittier, more conservative blueprint, one that grit and length replaced with hype and highlight reels. You can already hear the undercurrents in the locker room whispers old guard veterans, caught between loyalty and the harsh truths of aging bodies. Young legs wondering if their time to ascend has been cut short and a coach forced to balance immediate glory with sustainable progress. The ripple effects threaten to reshape every hierarchy in this team. What about Jordan Poole? Will he feel the squeeze as Kerr deploys defensive specialists and tweaks minutes, shifting from freewheeling offense to more conservative defense-first rotations? And what of Moses Moody quietly polishing his game, showing flashes of becoming a cornerstone? His departure cuts deeper than just roster spots. It's a shattering message that the Warriors' future is collateral damage in the all-out war for another ring here and now. Atlanta's role can't be ignored either. By scooping up Goga Bitadze and prized draft capital, they're playing a patient, long-game strategy that could haunt us, building a contender piece by piece while Golden State risks everything. Orlando flipping the script, welcoming youth and offensive upside through Moody and Santos, is a smart play reboot for their stagnant rebuild, but for us, it's a question of whether taking the defensive risk can finally push Golden State from perennial contender to legitimate favorite, or if this trade is a painful acknowledgement that our dynasty's clock is ticking louder than ever before. And here's what stings the most: every move the Warriors make now is under an unforgiving microscope. Every new lineup tested mercilessly by critics eager to declare an end to this era. Steph Curry's legacy isn't just hanging in the balance. It's dangling by the thinnest threads when you consider the Warriors' sometimes reluctant scramble to retool and the physical toll on bodies that just don't bounce back like they used to. If Isaac delivers and stays healthy, giving Draymond the breathing room to unleash his brilliance selectively and allowing Klay to move without the ball in systems designed to maximize space and flow, we might just witness a metamorphosis. Phoenix rising from the embers of an aging core to catapult the Warriors back into title contention with a revamped identity. But if Isaac falls into the injury ether again, if chemistry fizzles and cohesion fractures under pressure, this trade could very well mark the start of something darker, a dynasty unraveling in real time. The beginnings of decline accelerated by high-risk maneuvers made in desperation. This isn't just a trade. It's a story of hope versus fear, of legacy versus survival, and of a fan base forced to confront the fragile and exhilarating edge of championship pursuit. As someone who's bled blue and gold through every heartbreaking blowout, every ecstatic parade down Market Street, I can feel it down to my bones, this static charge in the air that tells me we are at a tipping point. The Warriors are staring dead in the eyes of transformation, unfolding their next chapter in live, brutal detail. Dub Nation, now is the time to rip off the bandages, to show the world the unfiltered passion that built this dynasty, and tell me, to your core, do you believe this Isaac Gamble is the spark to reignite the Warrior spirit or the crack that splinters our last stand? Drop your hottest takes below. No filter, no fear, no holding back, and I'm coming for you in the comments with all the receipts, all the rage, all the love. Let's send this moment into the stratosphere, Dub Nation, forever.